for NesTea versus Alive. We saw it already once at IPL 4. We're going to see it again here at the GSL Code to find out who's going to the third round. You can see, as you mentioned before, Lure advances to face his teammate DRG in round 3 to find out who goes straight into Code S. If Lure is able to beat his teammate Dongrigu, there would be an even bigger upset than what we already saw. And this guy will have gotten into Code S straight from Code B off of Jess Protoss versus Zerg play.
Will be quite impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
And MVP is doing quite well here in Code A. We have both players now in the finals. A little bit sad for the team, of course, that they have to face each other in the third round. But on the other hand, they're now guaranteed another Code S player.
Yes.
And
true.
you know, we always joke about the player names and that you can't form sentences with them. We actually asked the last time that people should tweet at us if they have like an idea. And I got a great tweet once again by Dr. Zaz. I actually had to laugh quite a bit when I saw this, so listen to this. Noblesse was barely alive when he took great effort to use some NesTea to write SOS, hoping to lure Stefano, who was flying nearby.
That is... he's gone all out with that one.
He was quite creative.
Yeah.
I actually liked that a lot.
Yeah, shoutouts to people who like to just do funny stuff like that.
And two of the people included in the tweet are now currently on screen. NesTea versus Alive. Wolf pointed out the history between the two of them. We saw them at IPL, now we see them at the GSL once again against each other. We have a strong Terran player and a strong Zerg. Both of them players that kind of belong in Code S. They want to get back. They're facing each other in the second round, and only one of them can advance.
Yep, there can only be one in the final round. The other one will drop down to that up and downs, which will be played on Wings of Liberty. Now, map number 1 is Icarus. This is the timing push map, the all-in map, the map where we see really aggressive play because of the gold patches and the rich mineral geyser at the rich gas geyser at the back expansion.
And Alive seems to be a little bit lost here with the cables of his headset, but now he's fine. NesTea getting ready for his game 2. The map is loading, guys. Icarus is map number 1. We have a Zerg versus Terran now. Let's find out who can claim victory in game number 1. Alive currently teamless. NesTea still playing for GIM, of course. Let's head into the first game here at the GSL Code A. Round 2, NesTea versus Alive. Paldon Wolf. Starting to the top left of the map, we have the topic of the Dan Stemkowski religion. It is the one and only
LGIM NesTea.
Yep, always knocking on my door, getting really annoying. I'm trying to take a shower, gonna go answer it, and I'm like...
Yeah, with a brochure, the Zalnaga Watchtower, and they're just a little bit weird, but whatever. Bottom right, we have the Terran opponent of NesTea in red, former Fnatic player. We have
Alive.
Yep, currently teamless, rocking the GSL hoodie. And Alive is an aggressive Terran. He's someone that is not an easy opponent. And he will be going for a command center first. This map really lends itself to his strengths, I feel. Nice check there by NesTea, making sure he's not facing that hidden barracks and that line of sight blocker.
It's actually funny if you look at them in this matchup. Alive has 107 games played against Zerg, and NesTea has 106 matches played against Terran in televised matches. So very, very close in the amount of games that they have in the Zerg versus Terran and the experience that they have here. Both are starting with a very economy-oriented build. Yes. Command Center first versus Hatch first, and NesTea is also going in additional drones without starting his pool immediately.
Yep, this is going to be a map where we see this pretty much dominate how the map is played out. It's just a map where getting that expansion early is even more useful than a command center first would be on any ordinary map, and Hatch first, vice versa.
The thing is, if you look at the records for NesTea, this is his weakest matchup. Against Terran, it's not really a matchup where he is shining a lot. He has a few hiccups here, especially in his recent match history, where he lost to Noblesse, who we saw play earlier. In Code S, he lost also to Tasia in the same Code S season. So a lot of games where he couldn't really show his A game. Against other players like Marine King at Iron Squid, he was able to win with the 3-0. Was a very convincing win because NesTea was reading Marine King like an open book. The openings of the prime Terran player were a little bit too obvious. So NesTea really took advantage of this. And this is also his greatest strength. The experience that he has and the number of opponents that he faced. So he's really going to read what you're doing. He's going to prepare for the match. A great strength of NesTea, and today against Alive he has to really draw on this strength because Alive is a very strong opponent.
Yeah, and NesTea goes for the backdoor gas. So he's going to get gas up to potentially go for just speed to be safe or some sort of aggression. And he's going to have more gas than you would normally have at this time. So this is something Alive is going to have to be aware of. He already saw the drones back there, and he's going to assume that something like this is going to happen. He's also taking his back expansion gas, so he gets that extra gas advantage.
And giving you guys a few information about Alive, of course, in this matchup. If you look at his game history, he has a very similar record to NesTea in terms of win percent ratio. He was able to win 54% of his games against Zerg. But in his recent map history against Korean Zerg, he's struggling against a little bit. The only player that he was able to beat was Mia at the GSL season preliminaries for Code A. But against all the other Korean Zerg players, he lost. He lost to Revival, he lost to DRG, he lost to Hyun, he lost to Symbol. All those guys are really strong opponents, but so is NesTea. So if history is any indication, then Alive is going to have a hard time against NesTea.
Yeah, NesTea is really in shape right now. He went straight back into Code S. He fell now down to Code A again. But he's playing really well. If you look at his Iron Squid results, that's very telling as well. He's an impressive player who's one of the most consistent players we've had. That's why there was an award named after him, because he was able to stay in Code S for so long.
I was so happy when he bounced back, when he fell into Code B, that he did not give up, that he was still fighting, practicing a lot, and then getting straight back into Code A. I was really impressed by this. This is something that not a lot of players can pull off.
Yeah, we've seen it very rarely. And usually not so quickly if someone gets back into Code S. It usually takes a few seasons for them to kind of be in purgatory, if you will. Bunker finishes up here for Alive. He wants to be safe against anything that NesTea throws at him. NesTea known for Mutalisk play in this matchup more so than his Infestor commitments.
Yeah, Mutalisk is something that he can use very well. He has been using Infestors a little bit more lately, just because he was practicing with them a lot, but we see him so often just go for the Spire Attack instead of the Infestation Pit and then shine with his Micro. He can really pull it off. A very aggressive player in the mid-game, still going for those old-school styles that we have. And now a nice attempt by NesTea to spread creep at the third base, or potential third base of his opponent, trying to walk between forward, but the Hellions take them down, no problem.
In Kaldor, we have a timing attack coming out for Alive. He's going for Marauder Hellion. He's just got one factory, but triple Marauder production. So this is the type of push that you would expect to see on Icarus. And if NesTea doesn't find out about it, he's not going to have an adequate defense. Stim is already mostly done.
It's really important now what kind of tech choice NesTea tries to take here. If he goes down the Spire road, then one of the problems that he has to deal with is that his Mutalisk might not be out in time. This is what Alive is trying to do. Alive will try to hit a timing that hits just before the tech comes into play for NesTea.
Yeah.
And NesTea is going for the Infestation Pit, which is already pretty good, because the problem that you have, even if you get the Mutalisks out against this composition, you still have to kill those Marauders.
Yeah, they take forever to kill.
And that takes a long time. And Marauders with Stim can take your buildings down in seconds.
But if you have Mutas, and if you have, if you have Infestors and Lings, then you can not only isolate the Marauders, make it so they can't move, they do a lot of area effect damage.
But you can also pin down the Hellions.
Yes. The Hellions can't move either, then your Lings can come in and avoid them. This is the move out here. He just doesn't have time. He needs that Baneling Nest. Without a Baneling Nest, it's so difficult to defend.
And also he doesn't have a Roach for him. So you will usually want to have a Roach Link Baneling composition if you have like the perfect scenario. But with only Links you can still hold it. It depends all on the micro of Alive.
Yeah, exactly. If the micro of Alive is good with his Hellions, he should be able to take this fight. He's getting him in a choke point.
There are no Banelings, and here they are, the Zerglings trying to do their best against the Hellions, but immediately Alive moves them back behind those few Marauders. A lot of damage done by Alive, but NesTea, it looks like he is just able to hold this off.
He had a lot of lings made preemptively, and he holds this really well. If Alive had gotten into a better position with his Hellions earlier, I think this could have been better for him, but NesTea crushes it, goes for a run by even. The worker count is now 41 to 31, but the army of NesTea is much better, and he's also got the better tech with better upgrades. 2-2, already getting close to being finished. He has the Infestation Pit.
15 Harvesters were killed by NesTea's counter-attack. This was ingenious, exactly what he needed here. Alive with a very strong push, a scary push, a push used by Bolt in the past very successfully, but here comes NesTea now, and he has the Baneling Nest, and this time he's not using it for the defense. He is going in for the kill.
He contaminates the factory. And with that factory contaminated, he can't even get Hellions out, which would help him a little bit here. But even with Hellions, I'm not sure if this would be possible. The SCVs and the Marines banking into a choke point here where the Banelings are just going to have a field day.
The Zerg Pain Train is coming, the Banelings on the move, 2-2, and it does not look good for Alive. He's down to 27 supply, and he GG's out of the game with only 15 Harvesters left.
Yep, NesTea with a good hold. Part of his hold comes down to the fact that before Alive even was spotted, he had about 22 lings on the map ready, and then he started an additional wave of them. Did not even try to make infestors, got his Baneling Nest up, which didn't even end up being necessary. Lings alone were enough to push him back because he had so many of them. NesTea not cutting any corners this game.
Very well played. Great match by NesTea, Alive with a strong 2-base timing, but NesTea is ready defense and takes victory on his way back to Codes. Second round still. 1-0 for the Professor. Can he take down Alive in the second game?
The map is Cloud Kingdom, and Alive is going to have to play a different style on this map, I feel, to the one we just saw from him. Not really going to be able to pull off a Hellion Marauder all in.
He took a risk on game 1. He took a risk, and it did not work out for him. With better positioning, he might have been able to take down more of these Zerglings. The Hellions were at the front when the fight started. We're trying to block at the mineral patches, but a lot of those Zerglings just got past them and surrounded them. It was just the sheer number of lings that we had.
Yeah. Cloud Kingdom loading up right now. NesTea looking great with the defense in game number 1. Will Alive just play for the later game and try to have his mechanics roll out in game 2? Is he going to try to hit NesTea with another push? This is not Icarus. It's a very different map with different timings.
Yeah. It's a very old map, a map that has been used for a long time. Let's see what these two are going to show us on Cloud Kingdom. Let's jump into the game. NesTea vs Alive, game number 2 at the GSL, second round of Code with Calder and Wolf.